Thank you so much for watching Landumc Goes There. Please subscribe and hit the like button and the bell notification button. The Way We Were is a 1973 American romantic drama film that was directed by Sidney Pollack, and it stars Barbra Streisand and Robert Redford. Arthur Lawrence wrote both the novel and the screenplay and based it on his college days at Cornell University and his experiences with the House Un-American Activities Committee. The storyline is basically that opposites attract, that during their college days, Katie, played by Barbra Streisand, who's a politically active Jew, meets Hubble, played by Robert Redford. Years later, in the wake of World War II, they meet again, and despite their obvious differences, they marry. Hubble wants to be a screenwriter, so the two move to California despite Katie's objections. They prosper there, but as the Hollywood blacklist looms, Katie's activism threatens her husband's reputation. The screenwriter, Arthur Lawrence, based the story upon his earlier romance with bisexual actor Farley Granger. Their personal differences were immense. Lawrence was Jewish and a political activist, while Granger was a carefree white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. During filming, the screenwriter was often frustrated by director Sidney Pollack's alterations to his screenplay. He fought to keep certain lines and scenes in the film that Pollack wanted to change or completely cut out altogether. Barbra Streisand was an ally to the screenwriter most of the time when conflicts would arise. Streisand and Redford had very different approaches to acting. Streisand liked to analyze the part at length and rehearse in great detail, while Redford was more of an intuitive actor, preferring to be more spontaneous. It's said that Barbra Streisand would call the director up at 9 or 10 o'clock at night and talk about the next day's work for an hour or two. And then she would get on the scene and start to talk again. But Robert Redford just wanted to do it. He wanted to shoot the scenes. He felt that the more they talked, the more stale the scene got. She often felt like he was rushing her. It seemed like the more rehearsing they did, they would begin to go up a hill, they would peak, and then start back down the other side. So the director felt much like a jockey trying to figure out when to roll the camera to get their best scenes to coincide. Despite their major differences, Streisand and Redford had a deep respect for each other, and they worked together pretty well during the film. They were both opposite in many ways, just like their characters, and they used those differences to the benefit of the film. The college scenes were shot at Union College in New York. The large rotunda-like building is the Knott Memorial at the college. When word got out to the public that Streisand and Redford would be filming on Manhattan city streets, it was no small feat to keep crowds of adoring fans at bay, and it made those shoots very difficult. Redford became pretty unhappy with some of the cuts made to the film following a preview of it. He was thinking that they both would have preferred a more political Dalton Trumbo type script. But finally, in the end, the director came down on the side of the love story, and that it was first and foremost a love affair, and they had to concede to that. The director trusted his instincts on it, and he was right in the end. Marvin Hamlisch originally did not include the title theme music in the final scene when Katie hugs Hubble. After the first preview of the film fell extremely flat, he changed his mind. The studio didn't want to pay the $15,000 cost of redoing that scene, so Hamlisch returned the sum out of his film paycheck to make the change. When Barbra Streisand heard the popular song for the first time, she loved it, but she suggested that they make two important changes, transforming the song into something even better. She suggested a slight shift in the melody to send it soaring at a crucial point in the song. And she also suggested changing the first line of the song from daydreams light the corners of my mind to memories light the corners of my mind. This is one of the first productions in Hollywood to tackle explicitly the blacklisting of actors and writers during the McCarthy era, which had profound repercussions on the Hollywood community in the late 40s and early 50s. The screenwriter of this film, Arthur Lawrence, was blacklisted around 1951 while he was in Europe, and the U.S. State Department declined to renew his passport for several years. The segment that dealt with the McCarthy witch hunts had much more screen time originally. However, that segment was cut almost completely out. It was cut down to the bone. The director, Pollock, was under considerable pressure for the film to be a hit, and the studio made no bones about it that they were terribly worried about the film. The studio was on the verge of going under at the time, and they had changed management and hadn't had a hit in years. But the box office success of this film hit the jackpot. It was nominated for several awards and won the Academy Award for Best Original Dramatic Score and Best Original Song for the theme song, The Way We Were. Now, in an interview before a live audience at the Brooklyn Academy of Music in 2012, Robert Redford candidly admitted that one of the factors that led to the convincing romantic tension between Katie and Hubble was the fact that Barbra Streisand developed an off-screen crush on him as the film progressed. While he didn't return her feelings, he recognized that she was giving a magnificent performance, and he was determined not to allow anything to get in the way of that. Ultimately, he decided the kindest course of action would be to simply pretend that he didn't notice her crush on him, and he took precautions while filming scenes with her to keep her at bay. He claimed that he had to wear 2 pairs of underwear to protect himself from the infatuated actress. During the love scenes that they filmed, that's what he did. It said that Streisand wore a bikini for their intimate scenes, and that Robert Redford sported 2 athletic supporters while he was doing the scenes. And during one of those scenes, Redford refused to say the line, "It will be better this time," because he was worried that viewers would think that he wasn't good in the bedroom in the real world. Redford was never supposedly bad in bed, so his character could never be that way either. Take a look back at this exceptional film. Sidney Pollack does an excellent job, and the acting is superb also. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll continue to chase the classics.